Everyone, Dave here. Today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite musicians. I hope some of you have heard of him, perhaps, if you're watching this. If you haven't, let me be maybe not the first, but certainly someone to introduce to you the great Charlie Parr. He's from Duluth, Minnesota, guitar player, kind of resonator guitar playing, 12-string guitar, steel guitar, plays some banjo, he sings. Really one of those kind of, I don't know, it comes to mind traveling troubadours, He just kind of goes out on the road, he's traveled the world, and he just plays. Um, I first came to hear about his music maybe 2011, I think. I heard one of his albums, which we'll get to here in a little bit, and I thought, okay, that's kind of cool, kind of old timey, revival kind of music. Instantly, I was thinking of like the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? That kind of Depression era, Dust Bowl, kind of rural country folk blues sound. As I got to hear more of his music, I was I was just completely blown away. It just got better and better for me. And over the years, he was always in the back of my mind as one of those kind of really great performers that maybe you only hear about kind of word of mouth. And if you're lucky, you get to see him. And if you are lucky to see him, I mean, you will not forget it. You will just be so blown away by him. So what I was going to do today is just kind of show you some albums of his that I have, some other little things of his that I have, because I have just, I have really just grown to just absolutely adore and treasure his music. I know there's a lot of that kind of revival music going on. Bluegrass bands doing stuff, which is just great music. But there's something just I just can't quite put my finger on what is just so special about him. I just don't know. So I'm just going to dive in here in a probably very long, rambling post here. But I think rambling is something that Charlie Parr is certainly accustomed to. So let's get into it. So his first album here is called Criminals and Sinners. Came out 2002, I think it is. That again, just bluesy, folksy, kind of stomp and clap along kind of sound. Plays a lot of slide guitar on here. Some very emotional songs, but and then fun songs. He does a rendition of "Going Up the Country." Canned Heat made it famous. I don't think they wrote it. I think it's kind of one of those old traditional songs, but I don't really know who wrote it. Going up the country, now do you wanna go? His version, I like it a lot better than that Canned Heat version that we all know and love. Love the Canned Heat version. Love Canned Heat. Maybe that's another video for another day. But his version was really, really good. His lyrics are just introspective, very, very Americana. I mean, the music is it's just so rooted in traditional kind of American music, your kind of mountain music, your bluegrass, your kind of ragtime, folk, all those things, the kind of music that maybe originally would have been recorded on 78s, that kind of thing, played on a Victrola kind of a thing, which is definitely a theme of all these albums here. His second album, called 1922. Again, really good. Opening track, Westbound Rattler. You just want to clap along to it. There's a song on here called Matoa Stomp. And indeed, you want to stomp along with it. It's great. This next album is called King Earl. This was actually the first CD of his I was able to find. And this is one thing about him that I feel so fortunate for, and really, really had to track these things down. So many of these albums, if not most of them, are unfortunately out of print and not particularly easy to find. I found maybe a little more than half of these on Discogs. I'm a big Discogs guy, great for music collecting, record collecting, whatnot. And while, I do have predominantly CDs of his, there are some LP copies out there, but it sometimes comes down to the almighty dollar. But what I discovered about my copy of the CD is on the back, on the liner notes, he signed it to Jorge. So that was a fun surprise. Like, oh, hey, look at that. Good songs on here. 1917 has this sort of desolate sound. Union Tramp. Again, you just want to clap along to it. Really keeping, again, to that old-timey sound. He definitely keeps to that old-timey sound with all these albums. This next one, Rooster. Kind of hard to see the artwork there. Cool artwork. These guys in front of a barn. This one had, this is the one, okay, yeah. So he does, the opening track, Samson and Delilah, which, is one of those old kind of traditional songs. The Grateful Dead do a great rendition of it, If I had my way, I would tear this old building down, which is great. Really cool. And another thing about this that I really like is the actual physical CD. Like, that just looks so cool. I love that. Could have been the album cover itself, but that's all right. I'll take it. Let's see, where are we at? Rooster. This one, okay, so this is a really cool one. So this one's called Backslider. And there it is. Cool artwork there. Kind of gatefold. A bear underneath he's drinking something. On his back drinking something. Look at it drip off. Good, really good. So this is a live album that was recorded, I believe it's a bar restaurant in Duluth called the Brew House. Anyone from the Duluth, Minnesota area, tell me, what's the Brew House like? I've only driven through Duluth, and I'll get to a little story about that in a bit. But this is really good. There's some members of Trampled by Turtles who play with him on this. I think they're also from Duluth. It's the first time I saw Charlie Parr. He was actually the opening act for Trampled by Turtles. Went with a buddy to go see Trampled by Turtles, and he was the opening act. And it was just so cool to see him. And he did a great job. I think maybe a member or two of Trampled by Turtles came out during his set and played with him. And he was just great. He was just all by himself with his guitar, sitting down, big empty stage, and he was just awesome. But this is so good. I really like how kind of raw this recording is. You can hear the crowd, just that whole kind of constant din of the crowd, and they're just chatting and talking, and he does all this stage banter. Someone from the crowd kind of yells something at him, and it puts you right front and center, right there seeing him. And it's just so great. I love when albums have those kind of live realness, mistakes in them. Usually, you record a live album and you try to mix out some of the crowd sound or maybe a heckler or something. But no, it's all here. And it's great. So, yeah, Brew House, Duluth, Minnesota, right there on the back. Moving on to an album called Jubilee. Again, really cool artwork there. And this is cool. It even has in the inner sleeve, recorded over 2 days in a garage, which is just, I love that. There's a photo of all present. Look at this guy over here getting his grill ready. I think he even credits the barbecue guy. Yeah. Harmonica, barbecue, and home brew. Which is just so cool. There's a song on here called Coffee's Gone Cold, which is really fun. A song called You Can't Win, which has really great harmonica playing. And I think the album, if I remember, starts off, who's ever recording him is like, okay, we're rolling, and just left it in. And I love the realness. I love how real this music is. No studio tricks. Barely, if any, overdubbing or, no auto-tune. It is just a guy sitting in a chair, playing his guitar. What you get is what you get. It's real. And there's not a lot of real music. A lot of it is spruced up in a studio. Not Charlie Parr. All right, next album here, and I think this is a reissue. As I understand, I think he toured in Australia, and Australia really, I think he found some new fans in Australia. So I think this is a reissue, an Australian reissue of an album called Roustabout. Has this hype sticker on there. Great folk country blues artist from Duluth, Minnesota, which is great. There is a quote from a guy named Alan Sparhawk on here. He's from a band called Low, who I think are also from Duluth. And he says, Charlie Parr is one of the greatest musicians and human beings I know. Remember Alan Sparhawk's name, because he's gonna make some appearances here. And this is cool. Again, according to liner notes, it was recorded in like a living room, a garage, in a basement. There's a guy on here who plays shovel and hammer as percussion. Who thinks to do that? It's great. There's a song on it, Far Cry from Fargo, real bluesy and fun. A great song called Adrift in Lake Superior at sunrise, which, he's from that part of the world there. Lake Superior's right there. If you've never seen Lake Superior or any of the Great Lakes, I highly recommend it. It's just incredible. The last song on here, God Moves on the Water. I mean, it's so good. It just leaves you wanting more. It's like, oh man, make the albums longer. Give me more. That's all right. Just start the album right over again. I'm referring to some notes here. I had to take a lot of notes just to remind myself because there's just so much. Even though he doesn't vary too much in his style, each of these albums are different. They're the same, but they're different. This next one, When the Devil Goes Blind, and I believe that is a picture of his grandfather, I think. I could be wrong. And then we get a good photo of him. Really good one. There's a song on here. I dreamed I saw Jesse James last night. Really great opener. Ain't No Grave Gonna Hold My Body Down. It's one of those old traditional songs. I don't know who wrote it. It doesn't list who wrote it. It just says traditional arrangement by Charlie Parr. Upcountry Blues is a good one. I Was Lost Last Night, which has almost Indian raga kind of intro. He's really good at doing these kind of atmospheric sounds with his guitar. Last track on here called Last Day, really great closer. Almost sad, but it's beautiful. And he's playing, you can hear his fingers running along the guitar strings. I love that kind of stuff. And this is a cool album because on a lot of these albums, just about all of these albums, he usually has some sort of accompaniment, maybe another rhythm guitar player, light percussion, maybe a stand-up bass or harmonica player. This one is just him. Just him. Really, really good. This next one is cool. So this one he's partnered up with a group called the Black Twig Pickers. I'm not familiar with them, but I gather that they're just kind of that kind of bluegrass revival thing. And this one is called Glory in the Meeting House, which, they do a lot of, I think the whole album is just old traditional, like gospel hymns, kind of traditional folk hymn kind of things. He has a fiddle player on here, which really, really works for the kind of music that Charlie plays. I don't think there was really much violin or fiddle playing on any of these previous albums. There is, I don't remember which track. I think it's his rendition of Jesus on the main line. That you can hear a little rooster way out, crowing away. And I like, so many of these CDs as well, he kind of mentions when it was recorded. So it says on the back, recorded in the shed in Oronto, Virginia, mostly May 30th, 2010, after a long drive back from Kentucky. Except for 2 other songs, which were recorded in the shed a bit later, all as it occurred, no overdubs and few retakes. So, I mean, again, just reiterating the realness of his music. He does song What a Friend We Have. He does it kind of like as a solo piece. Um, I feel like that might have been sung in church. Oh, what a friend we have. He there's a song that I don't recall which album it's on, called "There Ain't No Grave Gonna Hold My Body Down." Oh, which was on, yeah, it was on When the Devil Goes Blind. He redoes it here. He's got the band with him, and having the band with him, Black Twig Pickers, really makes it much more muscular, really great. And, once again, he knows how to close an album. Last song on here, Light from the Lighthouse. Very beautiful, very emotional, but it just leaves you feeling good. So when I first learned about Charlie Parr, again, I feel like it was 2011. Pretty sure it was 2011. And the first album I ever heard was Keep Your Hands on the Plow. And this is a cool album. There's some members from the band Low. Once again, Alan Sparhawk, excuse me. And this is a cool album. So where this album was covers of old traditional kind of gospel songs, this is a covers album of kind of just old traditional songs. Gospel Plow, it just a rip-roaring track. Again, a remake of God Moves on the Water. Having the band is really, really great. A song on here called Poor Lazarus. There's a kind of, I don't think it might be the first time, but I don't think so. I kind of re-listened to all these back to back to back to back to back to back to back before doing this. And there's an actual drum, rather than just kind of hand percussion. It's like an actual drum, maybe like a bass drum, just a big kind of bass drum played for Poor Lazarus. You got your 1, 2, 3, 4 beat just on the one. It just 1, 2, 3, 4. Just really just hammers that song home. Poor Lazarus. I kind of feel like Bob Dylan might have done a rendition of Poor Lazarus. Again, another Duluth native. Duluth, Minnesota. You're doing something right. Doing something right. Moving on. Okay, so and this is, oh man, I love the album artwork for this one. This is Barn Swallow. I really love that. There was I don't know if there was a documentary that I saw, maybe on YouTube, or maybe just a clip of him, or interview, something. I don't really recall, but I swear the original painting of this was behind him. Something like that. I don't know. And this one is really fun. This just feels like this felt very fun for me. There he is with the band. There's a song on here, Nowhere Fast. Really fun, really upbeat, kind of folk and bluesy kind of thing. Groundhog Day blues. True Friends. Just really good, really bluesy. The last song on here, it's called Rattlesnake, which I think is an old traditional song. Kind of did it as a tribute to Spider John Corner, who was kind of a folk musician back in the day. And I believe Charlie Parr befriended him before Spider passed away. And Spider John gave Charlie a guitar of his. If I'm remembering my Charlie Parr history correct. So yeah, Barn Swallow. That a really like Barn Swallow. This next one, there's really no other album like this one, in my opinion, in his discography. So again, mentioned Alan Sparhawk. Well, here he is with Alan Sparhawk doing an album called Hollandale. As I understand, Hollandale is a town in Minnesota. I believe Charlie's from there. This is less about doing little songs and more about creating just this atmospheric, almost movie soundtrack. It's so good. I dreamed I saw Paul Bunyan last night. It's a two-parter. Just this epic, atmospheric, stretched out, haunting thing. The title track, Hollandale. And I feel like they're doing kind of that kind of John Fahey, Robbie Basho kind of primitivism kind of thing. They were on, I think they were on the Tacoma label. Just that kind of, just taking the guitar and just using few notes, odd key signatures and tunings, and creating just this meditative, contemplative music. This is just a great listening experience. And I think the LP copy, this artwork is in color. And Alan Sparhawk, again, he's in that band Low. I don't know if they're still around anymore. But Alan Sparhawk did some solo stuff as well. He has an album called, I feel like it's called Solo Guitar. And it's just him on like a Fender electric guitar, and he just creates these soundscapes. If you're into that kind of just ethereal, moody, meditative music, that, this album, absolutely. And the Alan Sparhawk. Again, I think it's called Guitar Solo. I should have looked it up before I started recording. Again, very moody, great stuff. Coming up next, Stump Jumper. At the very beginning, you can hear him go, "Here I go." And then he starts playing the song. And I love banter. I love it. And this is, there's a little more drums in this one, a little more electric bass, just really kind of beefs up the sound for him. Evil Companion is a great opener. Song on here called Falcon, really fun. And one called On Marrying a Woman with an Uncontrollable Temper. All right. And it's a good song too. There's a song on here called Resurrection, really dark. To me, it had, if you're watching an old Western and they're gonna draw, it has that kind of music. See close-ups of the eyes, very good and the bad, the ugly kind of standoff. Who's gonna draw first and shoot? Kind of thing. There's a song on here, Temperance River Blues, very bluesy, kind of in a waltz kind of a thing, which I need to mention. He puts liner notes to all the songs, just kind of talking about the songs. It was really the first time he kind of did that. And I love that because, first of all, he has a great narrative voice. He knows how to write, which we're going to get to. You just wait. Look at him. I mean, just a great photo of him. Steel guitar there. Got a great look. He looks the part. Stump Jumper. Yeah, really, really good. This next one is just called Dog. It's all original music on this one. He doesn't do any covers. The title track is really cool. You can hear a dog kind of barking off in the distance. I think this is the first one he produced as well. Recorded over 2 days, April 9th and 10th, 2017. And one of my favorite songs of his, one of my all-time favorite songs of his. I don't know if I'd call it my favorite, but just a real good, if you just need maybe just one example of Charlie Parr's music, a song called I Ain't Dead Yet. Yeah. If I had to pick one song, I Ain't Dead Yet. Another song on here, Lowdown, really, really good. A track called Rich Food and Easy Living, really good. The last track on here, called Peaceful Valley. Before he starts playing, you hear him go, which is great. It's real music. It's so great. So yeah, Dog, really love it. Once again, I Ain't Dead Yet. Give me my flowers now. So this is a cool one. It's just self-titled. It's called Charlie Parr. And I really like that this has a hype sticker on it. It mentions a couple other artists that, if you like these artists, you might like him. And it mentions another kind of unknown, kind of old-timey music revival guy called Pokey Lafarge, who I have seen. It was a free show that he did at a record store in town. Really, really great. He had a great backing band behind him. It was so fun. Mentions Townes Van Zandt, so, if you know Townes Van Zandt's music. Again, mentioning Trampled by Turtles right there. Old Crow Medicine Show mentioned on there. And they put on one heck of a good show as well. And when they really put on a great show. So if you like that kind of music, you're going to like Charlie Parr. There's a song on here, Asa Jones's Blues is kind of a funny song. He's kind of goofing around with the lyrics. He does a re-recording of 2 songs on here, Jubilee and Cheap Wine. There's the actual album art there. I think it's a really great little sketch. Look at him. It's just great. If you notice, he's barefoot. Now, when I saw him, he wasn't playing barefoot. But I think there's some liner notes in one of the CDs. I don't remember now. It mentions he's usually playing barefoot. And yeah, I love that these albums started having liner notes, because I always enjoy liner notes to an album. It just gives you a little more perspective on it, a little more understanding of the artist themselves, kind of what's going on. Some of their personal insights, what inspired them. And it's just interesting to know. All right, but moving on. companion piece to an album here. So this one, so another thing with Charlie Parr is he's been on a few different labels, which is probably why it's been so difficult to get copies of these albums. They were just these real small kind of local labels. But this album and the next one are on the Smithsonian Folkways label. So these next two, they're very kind of similar. Now, this one is called Last of the Better Days Ahead. Like great artwork. Again, another album with just him playing, no backing band, nobody with him. I need to show you this inner sleeve picture here. So he's from Duluth, again, kind of right there on Lake Superior. I don't know if this is Lake Superior, but I mean, you know, there he is, just looking out over it. And Smithsonian Folkways have really done really good work with these albums. So again, liner notes are good. It just helps create a broader, widescreen experience of an album. So there he is. I mean, he looks the part, but these are really great liner notes. There's a guy in here, I cannot recall his name now. Maybe it's in here. And he just writes describing Charlie Parr's sound and what his music means and how it kind of just ties into just the story of the world. And then Charlie himself writes liner notes for all the songs, and you get the lyrics to the songs. Oh, I take it back. I might have mentioned that this was like a solo album. No, he does have some backing on this. He does have some accompaniment. I think only on maybe one or two songs. But again, just pages and pages of all the lyrics, him describing what the songs are about, why he wrote it. It's just so great. In conjunction with Last of the Better Days Ahead, he released a book called Last of the Better Days Ahead. The chapters are all kind of named after songs on here. And another thing about this one, this sounds really good. The sound of this album. Just a very full sound. Just really in your face kind of a sound. You know, again, just really good, kind of dark, but beautiful, which again, you could even describe his stories like that. It's not really autobiographical, just kind of telling semi-autobiographical, fictional tales. A little bit of some illustrations for each one. I came across this book. I was in La Crosse, Wisconsin, and some gift shop I was in, whose name I don't recall at the moment, and just there it was. I'm like, I have to get that because I know who this guy is. And when I saw him, let me rewind a little bit, or fast forward a little bit. Depends on which way. About a year ago, I saw him perform live in a real small venue. And in between sets, he did two sets, each about an hour, if not a little bit more than an hour, just him solo on stage. Um, and he was kind of chatting with some people, and I drummed up the courage to walk up and say a few things to him, and I walk up to him, and he kind of stopped who he was talking with, and he's sitting there, he's holding a coffee cup, and he kind of just turns and looks at me, kind of starts cracking a small little smile. I'm like, Mr. Parr, I'm so glad to meet you. I am such a fan. Um, Loved your music for years. And he's like, oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. He was very appreciative, very, I don't want to say shy, but he was very humble. Just a regular person. We we do this. We listen to music or we watch a movie, and these people we put on these pedestals like they're just bigger and greater than what they actually are, but they're all just regular people. This is a poster from the show, and he signed it for me. While also talking with him at that show, I mentioned a side project that he did called Portal 3. And this is unlike any of these other albums. This is more ambient, acoustic, atmospheric, spacey, double album, just one long track per side. Again, the only LP. Everything else is a CD. It's the only LP of his that I have. And I mentioned this to him. I said, yeah, I really loved the Portal 3 album. And he goes, oh, okay. Yeah, musicians really aren't supposed to make noise records. But thank you. I'm like, oh, no, thank you. So, yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, just ambient, drone, meditative sounds, real left field kind of things, Portal 3. I think it's only available as an LP. Maybe there's a downloadable version. I'm not really sure. It doesn't bear, I don't want to say it doesn't bear repeated listenings, because I do believe it does, but you're probably not going to listen to it every day. I also told him that, I really loved his book. And he told me, he goes, oh, well, you know what? There's another one coming out, and it's even more depressing than the last. And here it is, called Five Stories. 5 stories. There's all the stories there. And again, they're not, they're each these kind of separate little, I guess as the back cover says, kind of, well, here, let me read this little bit to you. 5 stories. Well, they barely count as stories, actually. They're more like sad anecdotes told to you at the end of an impossibly long dinner party by the drunken spouse of someone that you barely know while you're easing your way to the door, having already put your coat on around the time that these stories began. See, and again, another great thing about Charlie, he's a little self-deprecating. He's a great writer. They're not depressing, he's like, But I love that description. So, 5 stories. It was available, and I believe this as well, maybe even Portal 3, um, and certainly a few of his albums on his website. I think it's just charlieparr.com. So we're going to come to what is, as of now, his most recent album. It's called Little Sun. Again, on the Smithsonian Folkways label. And when I first played this album, it was like, oh no, Dylan's gone electric. Oh no. But no, this is great. This is such a good sounding album. Maybe a little more contemporary. It might be a good starting place for people if you're not really into the kind of old-timey kind of sound that he does on the other albums. This is probably a really good starting point for the unaccustomed. Yeah, there's a song on here called 10 Watt, which definitely my favorite track on here. Final track Sloth is a good one. Portland Avenue. Yeah, all original songs. And once again, another great booklet from Smithsonian Folkways. That's about how he looked when I saw him about a year ago. And again, all of the lyrics are in here. He gives a little bit of context as to what the song is about, where his mind was at when he wrote them. Really, really great stuff. So yeah, these might be the easiest ones to find. Last of the Better Days Ahead and Little Sun. Smithsonian Folkways, great, just a great set, a great package of music. And the last little thing I'm going to show you here, I came across this, again, I think on his website, charlieparr.com. It's called Song, No Sound. Selected Lyrics, 2002, 2023. It's just a little pocketbook. I love that art. Kind of, it was like I don't know, maybe not like a stamp or like a woodcut. I don't know, something like that. But what I love about it, he goes through not all, but a good chunk of his original songs and gives it context. And one of my most favorite things that I discovered with this is he'll talk about guitar players. I think you'll appreciate this. He talks about what key the songs are in, what chords he uses, what tunings. Originally this melody sprang out of an open C major tuning and has since been reborn in open G. That is awesome. I mean, so rarely do you get a musician who isn't just, okay, well, here's your little top 10 hit song and there it is. No, they are fully immersive experiences here. So that kind of concludes Charlie Parr. I cannot recommend him enough. Go out, seek his music out, get copies of it either in a physical format, a digital format, stream it, whatever you need to do. Look him up. If he comes to your town, go see him. I've only seen him twice. And I hope I can see him many, many more times moving forward. I really do. So, well, I've certainly taken up a fair amount of your time, about an hour. But yeah, Charlie Parr, really, really one of the great treasures of of the world. Really is. So, I can only hammer it home so many times. Seek his music out, give it a listen, tell me what you think, and thanks for hanging out.